Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets because, guys, there's no denying it. June was a very bearish month for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin fell over $1,500. We opened the month around $7,500, and we've been gradually cooling off ever since then to a bottom of around $5,700 when Bitcoin got support at the $100 billion market capitalization point of support. And I do believe that July of 2018 is actually going to see a recovery for Bitcoin, and we are actually going to see a turnaround and a reversal of this bearish trend that we're in. So in today's video, I'm going to lay out why I believe that. I'm going to lay out everything that we're going to need to see for Bitcoin to actually go through with this and actually begin this rally that I'm talking about. And then I'm going to talk about how this rally would form and where this rally would take us here in the month of July and on into August and September. But before we get into that, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like and hitting that subscribe button. We do crypto videos every single day here on the channel. Let's get right into it. Bitcoin is currently, as of recording this, trading at around $6,375 with a market, with a volume rather of over $4 billion in the last 24 hours. It's down about 1% in the last 24 hours. It's kind of cooling off after its major rally that we saw in the last couple of days. We made a couple videos on that on the channel. You can watch them up here if you're at all interested. But pretty much the entire market is neutral with a slight bearish tint. As you can see, there seems to be more red than green. As we scroll down here in the cryptocurrency market, we do still see some good gainers though, so it's kind of just going either way. This is basically a neutral day for Bitcoin and crypto. But I mentioned that $100 billion mark for Bitcoin, and that turned out to be a very, very important level of support. Now, I personally believed, and I was personally wrong in believing, that I thought that we would get stronger support at $6,000, but it turns out we actually pulled back and got support down here at around $5,750. Now, that seems like a weird level to get support on because I constantly talk to you guys about how big evens, numbers with a lot of zeros in them, are typically going to be major levels of support and resistance. We saw this with $10,000 being resistance back over here, $6,000 being our initial support in this bear market, and $20,000 being the top. That's how you normally see markets play out. But it seemed that the bears had a little bit more steam, and we pulled all the way back to very, very strong support, it turns out, at the $100 billion market capitalization point. If we come in here to the last month here on the Bitcoin charts, I have just market capitalization up here. You'll see that we never actually fell below $100 billion in market capitalization. That turned out to be a very strong level of support, and I do believe that we're going to hold that for many reasons, but one of the main reasons is that we've simply been trending downwards for 2 months now. Bitcoin typically doesn't trend this far downward, this drastically for this long, especially after around 4 months of bear market going into this little short-term bear market that we've seen. We've seen a much larger correction than we have a rally. I think the bears are starting to run out of steam, and that's really becoming evident based on the fact that we broke straight through this downtrend. Now, a lot of the people in the comments are saying that this little breakout that we saw here is from manipulation and that it's not actually an indicator of the market sentiment. That very well may be true, but the fact of the matter is we did break a very important downtrend, and the fact is also, well, it's not a fact, this is an opinion, is that I do believe that the actual overall market sentiment is starting to turn around. I think a lot of the people that were going to exit the market already have, and the people that are left are the people that are here for the long term, like you and I, that are here and are not going to quit just because we've had a 6-month bear market. Guys, if you got into Bitcoin at any time in the last 6 months and you've been here for over a month, you can rest assured in saying that you have lost your dip virginity, because the last 6 months have been very brutal if you didn't know how to trade this market. If you knew how to trade the market, it's been very, very positive because there's still a lot of money you can make in a bear market. I'm not backing off from that. But if you have been in the market and you didn't know exactly what you're doing and you're still learning, you've probably lost a lot of money. I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. I see it in the comments every single day. I see people hurting. And I think if a lot of the people that are still here are people like you who, yes, you're hurting, but you're staying because you see the actual potential in this market. And I think just about everybody who's left over is those kind of people. A lot of the people that were going to sell and exit, I think, already have, and I think that's what we're seeing when we broke this very important downtrend that we've talked about here. Now, this is a downtrend I've talked about in a couple of videos. As you can see, we have a touch up here as our pivot point at the all-time high. We have a set point pretty far away down here at $10,000. We got 2 levels of confirmation on it as resistance. We rejected off of this downtrend, and in the last couple of days, we've actually broken through it. This is an important breakout because we've gotten resistance at this level both times before in the last month. We've seen resistance at this twice. I made a video about how I thought June would be a very important month, and June did turn out to be a very important month because a lot of important things developed this month, but it turns out we didn't have the breakout that I was expecting. I think it's going to happen in July this time. And one of the things that happened in June, is that 2 very good cases where we could have gotten a breakout right here after getting support on a very important uptrend which would be namely this one right here. After getting support on that uptrend, we actually fell below that. That was not a good day. That was well, if you were shorting, it was a fantastic day, but it wasn't a very good day for the rest of us. And then it looked like we were going to get a bottom down here around $6,000, and we fell again. Definitely a good day if you were shorting Bitcoin again. But also, we didn't see a very good month in June. We've been gradually trending downward. We've been continually trending downward. I think that's going to turn around. Another thing that we want to talk about is that Bitcoin has overextended on the RSI 3 more times in the month of June. We saw it right here, right here, right here. We went down into oversold territory to around 31 on the RSI twice in just the last couple of days when we dipped down here to around $5,700, $5,750, and tested that $1 billion market capitalization. But now that we've finally gotten a break above this downtrend, what I'm expecting is going to happen is that we're going to see Bitcoin actually try and break this 21-day moving average. This is an important moving average. As you can see, if we scroll out here on the chart, if you have chart vision like I do, it's a superpower at this point because I look at charts every single day, then you'll see that this is a very important moving average. As you can see, we got support on it back here. We had support on it right here, kind of resistance and trading around it here, support there, kind of support here. After we got support here, we went up, support, little break, you can kind of call that support, resistance, resistance, support, resist. What the 21-day moving average is it's a momentum indicator. And typically when the market's above the 21-day moving average, that means that the market is being bullish. Typically when it's below it, that means the market is bearish. And right now, we are trying to get above it. As you can see, we've gotten resistance on in the last couple of days. And as you can see back here in this little short bull run, or this short little rally that we saw in April leading into the beginning of May, we were above it. And there's a good reason for that. That's because this momentum indicator is this moving average is very important for telling those things. If we get back above this 21-day moving average, that's one of the last pieces of confirmation that I'm going to want to see for us to actually say that we're definitely going on a rally up to this downtrend. Let's talk about this downtrend, and I'm going to move on to one more other thing before we wrap the video up. But before we get into that, I want to talk about this downtrend. Like I said, this downtrend constitutes the actual resistance of this descending triangle that we've talked about here on the channel so much. If we draw our little line over here, then we can see that we are in a downtrend. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this by now. We have our downtrend of resistance, our flat bottom of support. You could still call this a falling wedge. I'm calling it a descending triangle for the sake of argument. If you're not familiar all that much with triangles and wedges, I highly recommend watching the video I did on them. That'll definitely help you with trading. They're extremely, extremely powerful indicators. Go ahead and watch that. I think you'll be glad you did if you do. But what I'm expecting to happen is if we do break this 21-day moving average, like I said, what we're probably going to see is a rally come up here and test this downtrend. This is what we've seen several times in the past. We saw it back here on when we first got support at $6,000. We came up here and tested this downtrend, which didn't yet exist. We kind of established the downtrend up there. We did the same thing back here, and I think the same thing is going to happen here, which is why I'm believing that Bitcoin is probably going to be going back to the $7,500, the $8,000 region within the next couple of weeks. Probably, namely within this month. It may still drag on until the next month. We may still see a break below this downtrend again. We may get resistance at the 21-day moving average. But for right now anyway, I'm starting to believe that the $100 billion mark is going to be very strong support for Bitcoin. And I do believe that we're probably going to be getting above the 21-day moving average, come down and test this downtrend of resistance. We're going to have to see where the market is at that time to actually determine whether or not that we're actually going to break out of that, but we're going to see when the time comes. Now, let's move on to one of my final points in the video. I'm going to jump over here to Sketchpad, and I want to show you something, guys. I've talked about this, I think, twice on the channel before, but I haven't talked about it in a while, so some of you guys may need a little refresher on this concept that I'm going to show you. There are two ways that I like to look at Bitcoin's valuation. I like to look at its dollar value. That's what everybody looks at. You look at the dollar value, you say, okay, Bitcoin's worth $6,000 or $6,360, whatever amount of euro, whatever amount of pound, whatever. You look at the dollar value, you look at the fiat currency value, if you will. That's a good way to look at the cryptocurrency market, but the better way to look at the cryptocurrency, well, not the better way, but another important way to look at the crypto market, and Bitcoin especially, and, well, not just Bitcoin especially, but the crypto markets and the different cryptocurrencies, is to look at their underlying intrinsic value. I've talked about this before. This is kind of a nebulous idea, so I'm going to try and define it for you. Essentially, what an intrinsic value is, this is what I'm calling it. I haven't heard anyone else call it this, but essentially it's the underlying value of what we're trading. What is Bitcoin actually worth? Now, some people would say Bitcoin's actually worth nothing. But by that token, you could also say that anything on the planet is actually worth nothing, because if you say Bitcoin's not worth anything, simply because it's a tautological argument. You're saying it's not worth anything because it's not worth anything. Of course, Bitcoin's worth something. Hundreds of millions, well, maybe not hundreds of millions of people yet, but at least millions and tens of millions of people know about Bitcoin, and they trade Bitcoin, and they're invested in Bitcoin. So it does have an underlying value. The question is, what is that underlying value? That's hard to define. The price value is so much easier because we have a trade We have exchanges where you trade it. That's pretty easy to define, but the underlying value is defined by 4 things. And I like to call those, let's see, I have them down here. Let's grab those, get my tool right here, right there. Adoption, regulatory clarity, awareness, and development. Those are the 4 cornerstones of what I define as Bitcoin's underlying value. How well adopted is it? How clear is the regulatory landscape on Bitcoin? How aware are people of Bitcoin? How widespread is awareness on Bitcoin? And how developed is Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space behind it? And as the Bitcoin price continues to go down, which we can see the price over here, as Bitcoin's price continues to go down, we see Bitcoin's price go down. We got the price going down in this direction. Bitcoin's price has definitely been going down. I think we can all agree on that. For the last 6 months, Bitcoin's price has gradually been trending downward. The adoption, regulatory clarity, awareness, and development has continued to go up. Let's not draw a line through that, shall we? Has continued to go up. I think we can also all agree that at least awareness, regulatory clarity, and development have continued to go up. Perhaps not adoption because people don't want to get into crypto while the market is going down, but I think in the next bull run, the actual capability for adoption and the actual kind of maximum for adoption, I'm not conveying that in a very good way, but the actual number of people that we could possibly see adopting Bitcoin in the next bull run and the next rally is a lot higher than it was in the 2017 rally. So the underlying value of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, that's not what I meant to do, the underlying value of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency have continued to rise while the price has continued to fall. And what this leads me to believe is that the next bull run is going to be bigger than ever. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's going to happen in the next month. I'm not necessarily saying that's going to happen in the next 3 months. I'm not even saying that's going to happen in the next year. I'm saying that I believe a short-term rally up to this downtrend is going to be happening starting sometime in this month. This may not be the bottom just yet. We may see another test down here to the $100 billion market level, to the $100 billion market cap level. We may see that, but I do think a rally is going to form, and I think the next bull run for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to be bigger than anything we have ever seen before in the history of this industry. And I think if you guys stick around for it, you're going to thank me and you're going to thank yourself because you're not going to want to miss this, guys. We are in so early on the ground level of a fundamental technology that is going to revolutionize the way we do transactions. It's going to revolutionize so many industries. The idea of smart contracts and decentralized applications on their own could be an entire industry. And they're a part of blockchain industry. We have a massive growing industry. We have a fledgling industry that is going to make you a lot of money and is going to radically change the world if you stick around. So guys, definitely tell me in the comments down below if you agree with that sentiment. Are you staying in crypto? If you've been here for this long, if you're less than 2 months old in crypto and you've been here for longer than 6 months, in the last 6 months, basically if you've been here for the majority of this bear market, yeah, I don't think you're going anywhere. I think we already have you. I think you're screwed if you want to leave. I don't think you're going to be able to leave. I've seen so many people in the Discord, which you should join, by the way. We have a great community over there. I've seen so many people in the Discord leave for like a month, and then they come back and they're like, oh, man, I'm going into relapse. I can't leave. I just don't want to leave. You're going to be the same way. If you're watching this video and you're still here, you're probably not going to leave Bitcoin and crypto anytime soon. Tell me in the comments down below if you're one of those people. Tell me in the comments down below if you agree with my sentiment. Is there going to be a rally forming here in July of 2018? And is Bitcoin going to go to the absolute moon in the next 5 years like I believe it is? Tell me all that in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, definitely consider dropping a like and hitting that subscribe button. We do cryptocurrency videos every single day. And guys, just to add something onto the end of the video, I've been thinking about doing some merch. So tell me in the comments section down below if you'd like to see some merchandise for the channel. And also if you have any ideas for designs, hit me up in the comments section down below. You can also email me. That is on the about page of the YouTube channel if you have any designs or anything. We'll talk about that more in the comment section and in the Discord server. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.